lost 24-17 on Sunday against the Broncos. Ben Roethlisberger threw 2 interceptions, including a huge one in the end zone with just over a minute left that could have tied the game. Only Sam Darnold has thrown more picks than Ben this year, but he says it's no problem. Take a listen.
I wanted to even go back to the same play. I was going to throw it to Juju again. I think we should have went to him 4 straight plays. Third down was another run-pass option. He did undercut AB. So, who knows what would have happened. And that's where I talked to AB. AB, you have to come flat. You can't drift in the end zone because those undercuts can happen. Would the guy have had a chance to intercept it? Yes, I definitely think he would have had a chance. I can't control that guy. Sometimes those things happen. I'm a quarterback that's going to go out and sling it. You talk about gunslinger, whatever you want to talk about. I'm not going to worry about interceptions. I hate doing them. They bother me. But I'm going to go out and play my game and try and help us win football games. You talk about guys that miss a basketball, right? You miss threes or you're not making. Do they stop shooting? No, they keep shooting because you trust yourself.
All right, Shannon, what does this tell you about Ben?
It tells you that Ben does not get the gravity of his mistakes. Skipping again, you see what he's doing? Blaming someone else. I wanted to go back to Juju again. Skip! Now it's the play call because I wanted to go to Juju again. I've also told AB, you got to come flat on that play. Skip, if AB comes as flat as Ben wants him to, he's going to run right into Harris, who steps back and intercepts the ball. That's the thing. How flat do you want him to come? Down the line of scrimmage, behind the line of scrimmage, Ben? Come on, Ben.
I mean, they didn't anticipate that Harris was going to fall back in the middle of the play.
But like he said, the dude jetted him because he knows when you're coming across, what's the likelihood? It's not like AB 6'8". They're going to throw him a back inline throw, Skip. He's got to come flat. And so what is he? And what does a Roby does? He jets the route, which means he undercuts the route. Skip, I don't trust Ben like I once did. If you look at Ben, Skip, in the playoffs, when Ben throws 1 or fewer interceptions, they're 6-1. When he throws more than that, guess what? They're 7-7. 7-7. So Ben, what that should tell you is that when you take care of the football, your guy, you win. When you give it away, it cost you last year, Ben, remember, in the divisional round of the playoffs? It cost you home field. Remember that 5-interception game that you had against the Jags? I just don't get it. I don't get Ben, is that he finds a way to put the blame. I wanted to go to Juju again. AB, you got to run flatter. What about the interception that you overthrew AB and hit Chris Harris in the chest? Whose fault was that? You didn't mention that one, but I saw that one too. Keep turning it over. And guess what? You'll be home again. Contemplate retirement like you do every year. After every painful loss, you look back and, I don't know how much longer. I do got boys, and I want to be a dad for them. I want to take them to practice and all this, because that's exactly what's going to happen. You keep having that same philosophy, because most guys that understand that turnovers, first of all, being shooting a 3 and throwing an interception is entirely different, because one, you're actually getting an attempt at the basket. The other, you're not. Turnovers. So when the guy turns...
if you miss a 3... it's not the end of the world. Yes. If you throw an interception, it can be the end of the world.
Thank you. It's like overthrowing a pass, Skip, okay? It's an incompletion as opposed to a missed shot. It didn't go in. But come on, Ben. You better take care of this football because your team is not good enough. Your defense isn't good enough to overcome your mistakes.
So I've always said about Ben Roethlisberger, who once upon a time lost a playoff game to Tim Tebow in your town of Denver, right?
He did.
I've always said Ben has no conscience whatsoever. He loves his image as the ultimate gunslinger. He can shrug off pass rushers and throw another big completion. Loves throwing those 97-yard touchdown bombs, right? Because nobody can do it better than Ben can do it. Nobody can throw interceptions faster than Ben Roethlisberger. So over the last few days, we've talked a lot about throwing interceptions as it relates to 3 quarterbacks. The first one is Ben Roethlisberger. He is high risk, but I'll give him high reward. The second quarterback who talked yesterday about interceptions was Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I'm going to call him medium risk, but extremely high reward. And he talked yesterday or 2 days ago now about being more fearless. Don't be quite so careful. Go for it occasionally when you feel like you could pull it off.
Right.
Then the third quarterback that we've talked a lot about throwing interceptions, who's now 20 touchdowns to only 1 interception, is one Aaron Rodgers. I consider Aaron low risk, low reward. And it's barely low reward because he did go on that 4-0 run to his lone Super Bowl 8 years ago. But his playoff record is now 9-7 because since the Super Bowl, he's 5-6 in the postseason. And a lot of that I attribute to being low risk, low reward. He doesn't throw many interceptions, but he's not throwing touchdown passes at the rate he should be given his golden arm. So I go back to Ben versus Tom Brady. And what's Tom's record against Ben? It's 8-2, counting some postseason games. 8-2. Well, it's because Tom always outplays Ben when it matters most because he's going to make the big throw without throwing the big interception, right? So I look at Ben, and so he's played in 3 Super Bowls, and he won 2 of them. But guess what? His touchdowns to interceptions are 3-5. 3 touchdowns to 5 interceptions in his 3 Super Bowls, and yet he won 2 of them.
Right.
Well, he won the first one driving the bus, right? Literally driving the bus, as in the bus carrying the ball, right?
Because they played what they do. They ran the ball with Willie Parker and Jerome Bettis, and they had an outstanding defense.
And in that game against Seattle, Ben threw for a grand total of 123 yards, no touchdowns, and 2 interceptions, and they won the game.
Right.
And they got some controversial calls. And
yes, they did.
And then he beat Arizona, which I didn't think Arizona was much of a test, but it was 1 touchdown to 1 interception. And then he lost to Aaron Rodgers with 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. So it's 3-5,
right,
which are not scintillating stats. If you look at Tom Brady's just his Super Bowls, 8 Super Bowls, he's 18 touchdowns to only 5 interceptions, and he's averaged 322 yards passing a game in 8 Super Bowls. Well, that's pretty great.
And the thing is, Skip, is that what happened is that Coach Cowher made Ben take care of the football because they were going to run the football and then play outstanding defense. But something changed. This was no longer your mom and dad's Pittsburgh Steelers that played defense and ran the ball. It shifted, and the onus was put on Ben to throw the ball around, and he felt that he could throw the ball around without consequences or repercussions.
Yeah.
But when you're in the playoff, Skip, and you turn the football over, you turn it over more than once, Skip, you're probably going to lose the game.
Probably. Because
you play double. And the further along you go in the playoffs, the more the turnover will hurt you. Ben needs to understand, yeah, I get it. You know, you're like, I'm going to keep playing my game. Your game is costing your team. Is that your turnovers cost them? Now, look, there are enough blame to go around. I mean, Connor fumbled the ball. The tight end had an opportunity to get the ball in the end zone. He fumbled the ball. But Ben, these interceptions, and to be so cavalier about it. I mean, most quarterbacks of Ben's ilk would say, you know what, guys, I need to do a better job. Now, I mean, I can't be overly cautious where I'm afraid to throw the ball down the field, but I do need to do a better job of taking care of the football.
Yep.
Not, I got no concerns. I'm gonna just go out there and throw it, and then go blame everybody else. Because remember last year, Skip, against New England. Well, they wanted me to kill it, and I didn't want to kill it, and I'm like, bro, that's conversation you don't tell the world about the conversation that you and the offensive coordinator had. And again, I wanted to go back to Juju. Really? So now again, you didn't like the play call.
You think you're going to teach this old dog new tricks?
No.
I don't think so either.
No. So,
So he's got 2 Super Bowl rings, and in the postseason, he's 13-8, which is highly respectable. And I think he doesn't lose any sleep over throwing interceptions some regular season
But
game.
guess what? He'll go home early because he'll turn the ball over. He'll throw a bunch of interceptions. And then at the end of the game, they're going to ask him, Ben, are you coming back? Well, I'm going to take some time with my family. I'm going to contemplate retirement, because, I got a broken toe and my dog died yesterday and all. I'm going to go sit on the rocking porch and all kind of foolishness.
I hope his dog doesn't die, but that's just...
No, I'm saying, he'll when Ben give an interview at the end of the season, it's like a country western singer.
It is.
It's going to rain all day, and I got to get the old pickup truck and the dog in the back, and I don't know what's going to happen from here on out.
It always is that same story. And what did he do? He compared his interceptions to missing threes? I mean, I don't know, not the same.
And Skip, I'm trying to, you know what, Skip, I let you slide. But you tried to take a shot at Aaron Rodgers.
Well, he deserves a shot.
No,
5-6 in the postseason.
Okay, but let me ask you a question. Okay,
it's not a shot; it's a fact.
As aggressive as Tom Brady is, how does a guy that's low risk, low reward have more touchdowns?
Medium risk, extremely high reward.
Well, so if Rodgers is low risk, low reward, how does he have more touchdowns than a guy that's medium?
Can I give you his record right now? It's 4-6-1.
That record is
Aaron Rodgers is 4-6-1. Tom Brady is 8-3.
Can you imagine
Tom
if
Brady's 8
if he had 7
against
interceptions,
Ben
what his record would be? Green Bay wouldn't have won a game, Jenny. If he had thrown 7 picks. Skip Bayless. The man throwing 1 interception, they're 4-6-1. Your guy's thrown 7.
Here comes Tom Brady toward that #1 seed.
Well, you want some dew on it? You want some dew on it?
I might.
He's thinking
I'll see
about
how I
it.
feel about that.
Oh, you gonna wait till the end of the season?
I got a game to get through tomorrow night first that matters, that really matters.
Oh, y'all, that's the Super Bowl.
Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go back to missing threes because that is what was happening with LeBron and the Lakers last night.
Yep.
Chris Broussard answers what was going on.